All right, here we are at the Alsim booth. This is Scott Fersing from the USA office. We're back this year in 2018 with double the booth space and double the sims. So we have our AL250 reconfigurable sim, as well as our type-specific 172 Cessna with real Garmin G1000. We've been in business. Next year will be 25 years and growing in over 50 countries. And we mostly produce FAA, AATDs, and level 5 devices. This includes Cessna, Diamond products, and other generic reconfigurables. Next year we'll be launching the airliner, which will be a 737-320. Will be ready for purchase. And we are working with a U.S. company called Aviation Performance Solutions in Phoenix Mesa, Arizona, for upset prevention recovery educational tool. And this AL172 is one of our newer products here in Oshkosh. And this particular sim here at Oshkosh is actually going to Sarasota, Florida, to a flight school called TomsAviation. They bought the first AL250 in the U.S. last year, and they also purchased the first 172 this year after flying the sim and using it in their flight school for the past 9 months. And we're happy to report the Alsim US office is growing and hiring new staff. And as of next year, we're actually will be manufacturing the simulators in America and having assembly and hiring engineers. And we've announced a few sales recently. Kent State University in Ohio recently purchased 2 of the AL172s, as well as 2 of the AL250s, and will be delivered and installed in their new building in July next year. So what you see here, what you're looking at in the video, is actually our own visual system. We don't use any of the other, like Microsoft S-Plane. We have our own software engineers and R&D teams, so we do all the visuals ourselves, and we also have our own iOS. And for the control loading or force feedback, we use electro servo drives that are tied with the software to give the actual feeling of the handling characteristics and flight dynamics. And again, we use real Garmin G1000 or GTN 650 in our other sims for your GPS and for training. Yeah, and as you can see, we can basically, with our iOS, and because we do our own visuals, we can simulate any type of weather. So sunset time, fog, wind, crosswinds, and we could put you in any airport in the world. And right now we are flying over Oshkosh, so there's a lot less traffic here today in the simulator than it is really outside. So a little safer to fly. And we've actually created a 3D detailed airport of Oshkosh, which you can see coming into view here in the famous runway 18. So our clients are typically universities and flight schools that have different kind of aircrafts and training that fits their needs. So flight training that you can actually do, things practice stalls, approaches, but often our clients think they're very clever scenarios to develop and save as presets in their iOS for their particular training. Some of our simulators even have special features like icing. You can actually ice the wings, the de-icing system, and the ice actually affects the aerodynamics of the aircraft. And what's also particularly useful is you could fail anything that you want, from carburetors to engine failures to some of the actual avionics systems you could fail, and allowing this a much safer way to do particular training you would probably not want to do in your aircraft.
setting up his base. He's setting up his base.
Yeah. Yep. Right now it looks like we're turning in for approach.
Alright, so here we are in the Cessna 172 specific from Alsim. The scenery here you can see is Innsbruck in Austria. I choose that for the beautiful mountains. And you're going to be able to see how stunning the visual system is. So here we are on takeoff. We're going to rotate at 55 knots. Try to do some breathtaking maneuvers before working seriously on the training performance of this simulator.
Now, do you have a private pilot's license yourself?
Sorry, what's that?
Do you have a private pilot's license yourself? Are you working on it?
Yeah.
There you go. Is this your favorite airport? One of your favorites?
My favorite airport is my home airport in Sarasota, Florida, where I learned to fly with TomsAviation. Those guys got the L250 last year. It was the show simulator, and this year they bought that one, the Cessna 172. So it's gonna go to Florida in October.
There you go. And so tell me about the simulator that we're in. It's so realistic. I don't even realize that we're...
The other one, the 250?
No, this one right here.
So this one is technically is going to be certified level 5 by the FAA. Level 5 requires that you have the exact same aircraft as in the real world. So basically the cockpit is exactly the same as the real one. The switches are the same, the yokes are the same, the rudders, everything. And this is a real G1000 avionics suite. We're gonna get some altitude and start doing some commercial maneuvers. The kind of maneuvers the students are gonna work on in this beautiful simulator.
There you go. What do we have, 45 degrees of bank there?
Roughly, yes.
There you go.
So let's start with the stalls, with both power on and power off stalls. Those two maneuvers are required for the private check ride. So, and this is basically what a student is going to do in the first hour of the lesson after maintaining the aircraft in straight and level flight and with coordinate turns. So this is a basic maneuver. Every pilot is trained to recover from a stall. So we are at 3,500 feet, and we're gonna start with a power on stall. The power on stall simulates a stall right after takeoff. So basically we do have a takeoff configuration, so 0 degrees of flaps. We're gonna get a high angle of attack and add the power to go until maximum power, and we're gonna make it stall. So here we are, the airspeed is going down, I add the power, I start a climb attitude. We can hear the stall horn. And there is the stall. If I don't do anything, we're gonna still hear the, and then you can see the plane is going down and going up again because there's more airflow going in on the wings. So the real airplane is going to do that if you don't change what you're doing. It's going to stall the first time, and it's going to do a secondary stall because you don't change the inputs in the flight controls. And then I'm going to release the yoke, and there we are, out of the stall. So we gain a little altitude. We're gonna stick at 4,000 and do that time a power off stall. This is to simulate a stall on the approach right before the landing at the moment of the flare. So here we are, 4,000. I'm gonna lower my flaps all the way down, 30 degrees. I'm gonna simulate the descent. Then I'm going to simulate the flare. And here we are, power off stall. The power off stall is always more impressive than the power on one. The airplane is gaining airspeed, going up in your air again, and this is the secondary stall on that one. I'm gonna add power, lower the nose, and here we are back in the air. The next thing I want to show you is the turnaround point. As you can see, we have a beautiful one-piece fiber screen from left to right, and you can actually see the outside through the windows on your left or right side. The turnaround point is basically you pick up a visual reference on the ground. Let's go to 3,000 feet. And the student, the goal of this maneuver is for the student to turn around a point, as the name is, and as you will turn 360 degrees, the wind direction related to your airplane is going to change because the plane is going to turn around the wind. So for the student, it's important to make every correction he can to counteract the wind effects on the airplane. So I'm going to get that building over here and I'm going to start to turn around it. Now we are start to be pushed by the wind, so I'm going to increase my rate of turn. And now as we turn around, the wind is stopping us, so I'm going to decrease my rate of turn. And we still have the building in line of sight. And here we are.
So this simulator has the different axes of movement.
Absolutely. In Alsim, we think that awesome visual system and a really realistic control loading on the three axes are the best way to give the pilot the best sensation of flying, the best immersion. So you can see on the video the projection system, but in the nose of the aircraft we have a lot of servos, and they're all linked to the three axes of the airplane. So basically we are currently 80 knots, we have airflow on the airfoils, and it's harder to push the rudder with the airflow than on the ground with 0 knots of speed. If I go into a stall, I'm gonna have less airflow and the rudder are gonna get smoother. Here they are. I can easily move the rudders, and then when I'm gonna recover, it's gonna get hard again.
That is so great. That is so realistic. It's incredible. I mean, I remember my flight training, and it's just spot on.
Yeah, honestly, like with the cost of the airplane, it was really expensive for me to do my flight training in those times because of the fuel price increase. The insurance cost of an airplane like the simulator is the future. I mean, a simulator like that, it is the real airplane. So as far as procedures, it's exactly the same, and aerodynamics as well, and you're totally in the environment.
Right, and you can set up different scenarios. You don't have to
absolutely
wait for them.
The instructor back in the instructor station can preset every position in the aircraft, every weather scenario. We do also have, for training purposes, a lot of what we call upset recovery. That means you're in an unusual altitude and you have to recover. For example, I'm going to show you one right now, and then we're going to ask someone to add a preset after. Basically, when you get a check ride, your examiner is going to tell you, okay, head down, close your eyes. He's going to take over, he's going to give you this, and he's going to tell you, okay, your controls, and then you have to add power and recover from that situation. Another one can be this, recover, and then you remove the power, you zero roll, and then you recover from the pitch. Yeah, and all those presets and even more are in the computer back there. So from the touch on the screen, you can perform and work on those scenarios.
What about a chance to person, an instructor and student to review as well? Yeah,
for example, we have a profile and overview for every approaches. So the instructor select a runway, and then he go on the profile view, and then you're going to see the glide slope and the localizer and the track of the airplane, and you're going to be able to see if the student was off to the right, off to the left, too high, too low, type thing.
Right. And then look at these conditions that you have set up right here. It's like we have the clouds coming in over the mountains.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some downdrafts going on.
Yeah.
Visibility is
good. I wanted you to see those beautiful mountains, so I wasn't that hard on the weather. But basically, yeah, you can set the weather down to the minimums. You have an ILS at 200 feet. Then you're gonna put it at 200 feet, and you're gonna break out at 200 feet. You can have traffic on the runway, static traffic on the runway. Like you break off at 200 feet, and oh wow, there's a traffic on the runway. So boom, go around, and you follow the missed approach procedure, and yeah. So all those tools, you can mix them together. There's thousands of possibilities for the instructor to set up a tricky flight for the student, and be sure that you're going to be proficient at the end.
There you go. There you go.
May I show you something else?
No, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. So we start to run low on fuel right now. As you can see, we are going into the reserve. So maybe it's time to land. Here we are, 80 degrees in the wide arc. I'm gonna add my 10 degrees of flaps, and the runway is over there. We are a little low. We can climb out. We have some clouds. We can turn around.
Now I see the grass runway up there. I see looks like a grass.
There's PAT. What is that? Oh, it's geospace. Okay.
I can see my house from here.
Hey.
You were just setting up a landing to complete. There's the airport ahead of us.
Yeah.
And we're landing in, what's the...
We're landing in Innsbruck, Austria.
There you go. You know the identifier of the...
Sure, it's Lima Oscar Whiskey, India. There's a fancy ILS approach on this airport. The localizer is not going standard with the runway due to the mountains. It's a little off runway. are, the first white light.
There you go.
Here we are, perfectly on the glide path. We're going to slow down. We have a slight left crosswind. And by 10 degrees of flaps. Here we are.
There we go.
I raise my flaps, I shut down my avionics, and I kill the power.
There you go.
Thanks for watching.
There you go. Cool.
So this particular AL250 is actually going to Bogota, Colombia, which is our first sim in Latin America. The owner actually demoed the simulator last year in Oshkosh and purchased it a few months ago, and is accepting the simulator here, and it will be shipped back to his flight school to be installed for the flight training outside again in Bogota.
So if you're a flight school or a university with a flight training program, feel free to reach out to us. Our website is alsim.com and our phone number is 877-594-7426. You can reach out to myself, Elise, or our sales representative, Scott. We have 4 different products right now and another couple on the way, so reach out to us and let's talk.